Hello again. We are back in the Lethean's TerraFirmaCraft Let's Play. And as I said last episode, this episode we've got a lot to do. We have a lovely temporary shelter. Really just magnificent. One of the best I've ever seen. I'm going to make a waypoint here, so we can find our way back easily. What we need is to find a number of resources. It would be nice to find a source of copper. We also should look for sheep, because wool is something that can be very difficult to find, but important as it is the only way to get a bed, or a bed that you can use to sleep through the night at least. I'd like to explore our surroundings a little bit, figure out what we're in for. Okay, let's see what this is. Bismuth. Okay, bismuth is good. It's one of the components of bismuth bronze, which can make our copper go farther. Okay, and what I know about the game mechanics of TerraFirmaCraft are that if the metal is within, I think, 30 some odd blocks, it can cause these deposits to appear on the surface. Later on, when we get a prospector's pick, which is a tool, it'll allow us to tell if metal is within 20 or so blocks. So I just wrote deep bismuth because that could be up to 30 blocks deep. Number of berry bushes around here, that's nice to see. I would like to find some surface copper, and I believe sphalerite. I'm not sure. I need one other metal to make bismuth bronze other than the bismuth and the copper. Blackberry bushes with blackberries already grown. And carrots. Yeah, we actually have a very good fertile area around here that we have spawned in. I am not going to take the bushes though just yet, because I fear until I have the ability to make chests, I might run into inventory issues. For the time being, I'm just going to let things grow, especially the berry bushes, because those survive the winter. These crops I will probably try and get before the winter. So TerraFirmaCraft has seasons, as you might have surmised from me saying the winter. When we open our inventory, you can see there are extra tabs here. One gives skills, and these can improve, I don't know, something about the character. I know the agriculture skill makes it more likely to get extra seeds when harvesting crops. We also have a calendar, so we are in the early summer, and it'll go through the seasons relatively quickly. Each month, I think, has about 10 days. And then we have our nutritional status. You can see that food is broken up into 5 different categories. And in order to keep all of these high, we need to eat a variety of foods. The higher each of these is, they all contribute, I think, to your health. So the more health you have, and so you want to eat a balanced diet, otherwise your bones are made of glass. Just want to see what's over these hills. Looks like sort of more of the same. Oh, okay. Here is another mineral. I'm not sure what this is. Galena. Okay. Oops. And sorry, gotta lag spike there. Galena is not particularly useful for us. Actually, I'm going to toss it. It is lead/silver. I think it's lead. And there is currently no use for it in TerraFirmaCraft, so not worth the inventory space. Oof. I think it's generating new chunks, and that is why I'm hitting these lag spikes. Okay, we've got aspen and chestnut. That's good to know. This could be, yeah, gold. Gold, I believe, can be used to make certain kinds of steel. I think it's involved in making one of the end game steels. Berry bushes, by the way, can hurt you if you touch them. You have to be careful around them. But yes, we are very far away from steel, so I don't really need to hold on to gold. And I will toss this if it gets to the point that I need inventory space. I apologize for all these lag spikes. Okay, these are tomatoes. These will disappear if we hit winter, and we're a little far out, so I'm actually going to collect some of this to make sure I get the seeds. In winter, crops, both wild and cultivated, will, pop out of the ground, and if you're not around to collect the seeds, you're out of luck. Okay, you can combine foods. I think you saw me do this last episode with some carrots. Combine foods into single items. You can see each food can have up to 160 ounces, and the individual pieces you harvest from the ground are generally less than that. Okay, so I saw... Okay, so we've reached kind of a natural end to the terrain here. I see more crops. They look like either onions or garlic, I think. Collect these. Garlic. So, part of the goal of this series is going to be to collect all the different kinds of crops and berry bushes and trees. But of course now it's raining, so we need to think about heading back home. I got a few crops, that's good, but I did not find any of the really big ticket items we might want. See, there's a wolf over there killing a deer, so I'm going to follow and try and collect some of the items that drop from that deer. It is not like our home is a particularly... And we ate that piece of meat, so we're going to switch over to garlic. Looks like the deer's going to get away, so we're just going to leave that. But yes, it's not like our home has many amenities. Oh my goodness. We are lucky, for we have sheep. At least a sheep. I really don't want to fall into any holes. I'm sorely tempted to just kill the sheep. Oh, but we've got a breeding pair. Okay. Oh, and this is considerite, which I believe is tin. Possibly. That's another thing that can be used for some sort of bronze. I don't remember whether it's the bismuth bronze or the standard bronze. Yep, there we go. These look like red peppers. I know we have some of those by our base, so I'm going to not collect them right now. strawberries. Goodness, we are finding a lot of pretty good things, actually. Okay, so I'm also going to mark this area as sheep. Then I'm going to leave as fast as I can, because as we saw, there are also wolves here, and wolves will kill sheep if they get too close, and I want this chunk to stay unloaded. Oh, there's some hematite, I think, and darn it, I just heard a zombie. And we really don't want to run into any monsters. We have very little capability in the face of a monster. And it's raining at night, and we're 400 meters away from our shelter. Because time. I'm so good at time management, it seems. I have to admit to you guys, I often rely quite heavily on the radar on my minimap, which I have turned off for this series. So this is going to be an interesting trip home. We are taking the scenic water route. And you might notice that I've took my axe out. That's actually, I think, the best weapon we currently have. Especially against zombies who take extra damage from slashing type damage. There's a lot to know about this mod. I've learned quite a bit of it from really two main sources. The first is the TerraFirmaCraft wiki. In the show notes I have a link to the TerraFirmaCraft homepage, and there's a wiki link there that has quite a bit of useful information. I'm going to run, by the way, to try and stay away from mobs. Hopefully we can get somewhere where they aren't tracking us at the moment, like maybe here. Okay, grass doesn't always fall, so I'm going to take a chance. And our shovel broke, and it's got a hole up there that's big enough for mobs, so... Although it's also big enough for us, so if we were to do this... Oh, of course. There. Cozy. Just like home. But yes, as I was saying, there are two main sources for how I know what I'm doing in this mod. One is the wiki, which is very helpful and rather comprehensive. The other is I've been watching Etho's Let's Play series on TerraFirmaCraft and seen what he's done. I suppose it's unsurprising considering how popular he is. But yes, I am a horrible coward. That is to say, I play relatively carefully, generally. I don't like to die. Oh, and I made myself another shovel. How helpful I am. So, I believe I am going to wait out the night and the rain in my hovel. So, tomorrow we have to remember to collect some sticks as we are running around. And yes, we still have to find a number of useful resources, like a source of bronze. Yeah, because this is hematite, which is iron. We won't need that for a good long while. We are also going to need a good source of wood. There was a forest with pretty tall trees near our, what did we call it, the shelter. So I might cut down some of those trees to get a lot of wood. I just want to make sure they can grow back, because I don't like large empty spaces that aren't meant to be there. deforestation is a real problem. Anyway, I will cut here and see you when I feel comfortable escaping. Well, the sun is rising, the day is coming, and it is still raining. It's okay, I haven't actually heard any mob sounds all night, so I'm hoping that I will be alone when I chop my way out of here. I will quickly get moving in case of... Okay, I'm actually fine. And I saw sticks. I want them. Yeah, so it's raining. That's pretty dreary. Oh, apologies. This is my first Let's Play. Going to turn the game sounds down. Because that rain, I'm sure, is very annoying. So, looking around, we can see... Oh, a horrible enemy. Did not comprehend what I was looking at for a little while. His javelin looked like some sort of beautiful flower, which is just wrong. Bad interpretation. Let's see. Okay, this is a sequoia. I am relatively certain that I cannot replant sequoias. I do not believe they drop their saplings. I do not know if they regrow themselves. Some trees in TerraFirmaCraft do. When I get a chance, maybe tomorrow night, I will look up whether they regrow. If they do, then I won't feel bad and I can harvest all this really amazing large trees. Get plenty of wood that way. If they do not, I fear I will have to find another source, or at the very least go far away from where I plan on building my base before I start harvesting them. Okay, so I'm gonna come look over here. Should keep my axe out. It is raining after all. Could come across some mobs. I want to see really what other trees we have access to in the immediate vicinity. Got ash, the cedar that's all over, that sequoia, which may not actually be renewable. Oh, and here we have some more. Oh, no, okay, this is galena. Galena and cassiterite look very similar. It's a trap. But over here, this is native copper. Ah. So, we at least know one source relatively close to our potential future base site that has a source of copper. And as I said, some of you might be screaming at me for leaving all these crops around, but I'm going to try to get very quickly a saw, a metal saw, which will allow me to make chests, and then I can get all the seeds in the world, not have to worry about firing a plethora of vessels to hold them. And we're already halfway there, so even more. Oh, we're doing well actually. This is very nice vein of copper. It's actually probably close to the surface because it had such a wide footprint. This is going to be one of the first places we dig when we get a pick. is an interesting dilemma, though. So I was mentioning that we were halfway. We had 5 pieces of copper. Each piece of copper has 10 units. An ingot needs 100 units, and each tool uses 1 ingot's worth of metal. So when we get 10 pieces of this copper, we will have enough to make 1 tool. If we manage to get everything we need for an alloy for bronze, we will need fewer pieces of copper. I don't know the exact ratios though. I plan on printing them out and maybe sticking them to my wall for easy reference. Although I could make some signs in game for you guys to see too. That's another possibility. Okay. Let us come up here. I want to see... Okay, that is actually what I want to go see. I got close to one over there, darn. We can see that there are some sorts of evergreen-looking trees there. I hope they are Douglas fir. What I have seen of Douglas fir is that it is quickly growing. Oh, and here's another fruit tree. Is that cherries? Cool. I've gotta say, we're in kind of a Garden of Eden as far as TerraFirmaCraft starts that I've seen. We have fruit trees all around, we have plenty of crops, we found sheep, there's copper nearby. There are a couple of other key minerals that it would be great if we could find. Okay, pine. It is not Douglas fir, it is pine. It's too bad, it would have been nice. I've in the past put off making a tree farm until I find Douglas fir, because I've heard it talked about so nicely. But I think that's probably a silly reason to put off making a tree farm when the benefits are so great. You know, being able to sit at home and not venture deep into the forest, collect all the wood you need, is definitely useful. And I really apologize for this lag. I think it's just all the terrain generation from exploring. Here is more bismuth. I don't see other pieces on the surface, but I will mark it. If possible. So we found cassiterite and copper and bismuthinite. Oh, and the sun shines through the clouds. Day's about more than halfway done though, so we should turn around soon. Just want to find one more interesting thing. Isn't that always the case? Just one more thing before I turn around. Let's just look to see what that material of those mountains is made of. Ugh, but the mountain generation is really taking a toll. I do not have a bad machine. My computer is really quite capable, but the terrain generation really eats away at it. Hopefully, that just means that frame rates can only improve going forward. Once we've generated a lot of terrain, we generally stay within loaded or pre-generated chunks. I think that we'll find it's quite smooth. Oh, okay, this is actually amazing. This is great. Rock salt. I don't know what the daysite is, but rock salt is great. Rock salt is going to allow us to preserve our meat. It's about to be silly and walk away, but I'm going to Before we can do that, though, we need a grindstone. To get a grindstone working, I believe we need a pick, because we need to be able to get smoothened stone, which you can only get once you can actually dig it up. So, just means, as before, we need more metal. If I remember correctly, cassiterite is an ore of tin. Tin plus copper, bismuth. I'm not going to bother marking it. Because we have to get home. So yes, cassiterite is an ore of tin. Tin plus copper equals bronze. The recipe for bronze in TerraFirmaCraft, I think, is almost 90% copper and 10% tin, which means that we would still need 2 more pieces of copper to make a single bronze tool. What's nice about bismuth bronze is that it is a much more favorable ratio. I think it's 70% copper. Oh my goodness, that guy spawned right in front of us. Okay, this is the way we're going. This is a very strange sort of chunk error. Yes, the bismuth bronze is a much more favorable ratio where you need less copper, but you do need both sphalerite and bismuthite to do that. I don't know what those are ores of in real life. Oh my goodness. We're still 200 yards away from our shelter, meters, and there are enemies directly in our way. Our shelter is not secure. It is defense through obscurity when it works. Because these mobs are tracking us, it is actually not going to be of any use to think of a way. Oh, great, great, lovely, love it, excellent. Actually, so no need to stop. We would just get cornered and killed if we went there. So we are going to run off across these plains. See if we can get enough breathing room. Oh, that could be good. I didn't see what that was, but we are going to have to come back to that. Let's remember that's just west from our shelter. Oh, great. Javelin skeleton. Okay. I would like to get enough breathing room that I can dig into a hillside with some grass above me and cover myself up with wood, which is not affected by gravity. This is actually somewhere along here. It's the hole we used last night. Mobs are really just undefeatable for us right now, I think. Excellent. And we are safe. So, as with all the nights so far, hopefully not for too much longer, but tonight at least, I will cut and we'll come back when it's safe to venture outside once again. Dawn is approaching, but as you can hear, if it will oblige, yeah, there. We definitely have a visitor outside. So we are going to have to come out swinging, I think. Spiders are problematic. They are fast. They can climb. They can track you through walls. And if they bug a little bit... Oh, very bright out. They can get you even when you're in a corner like this that they can't fit in. Okay, I am going to sprint out into that water. He is not currently aggressive. So let's be an idiot and change that. Okay. Did it. And we got some string, which may soon help us to make a bow or something of the like. Okay. Oof. Just love the looks of those mountains. And I am very glad they have generated now, and so we are not getting those lag spikes. Okay, but we had resolved to remember that near our shelter, but to the west, or this way somewhere, we saw some sort of ore on the ground. There it is. We'll see what it is. From here it looks like it's probably bismuth. And it is. It's fine. Got plenty. But it'll be a good source. Surface bismuth. Double check. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like if I look around, we've kind of been every direction except sort of this way to the north across these plains. So I think I will look briefly here. That is gold. I'm not going to pick it up yet. Not until I have a place to store it. We are looking for more copper. And if we can find it, sphalerite on the surface. Whichever we come across first, really, because that's going to allow us to make our first metal tool. I think I'm currently leaning towards a pick. Just because then we could go to one of the places where we have already seen there is metal in the ground. Mine it out. For example, I think I might have seen over here. Oh, okay, that was a little buggy. Thought maybe there was a ravine that was visible from the surface, but, well, okay, there is. Ooh. Scary, but there's copper. Okay. It's always good to be able to actually see the metal on the surface. I don't even know what this is. Could it be? Oh, silver. I was hoping sphalerite. Well, here's a piece of copper. Yes, if we can see the metal on the surface, then we're certain we can get it. There's a lot of silver here. Okay, I will put and I recognize that seeing these deposits doesn't guarantee that that the metal is deep. It just means it's within 30 blocks. But I guess that's kind of the shorthand I've adopted. Okay. There are mobs up there because of that bit of a floating island. We will stay a little further away. We need at least one more piece of copper, though, to make our pick. If we get it, we see more copper on the surface there. We've marked at least one other place where we found copper on the surface. Or where we found copper that could potentially be deep, but might be on the surface. So we will be good if we can make our first pick. The other way to get metal, I might have mentioned before, is to pan for it in the water. But I don't have the patience for that right now. You need to get gravel. You take the gravel and you put it into a bit of running water, basically, and you use a pan that you basically craft out of a log in order to get metals out of it. But the metals are random. It can be, I think, silver, gold, platinum, or copper. The only one we want right now is copper. Can't assure that's what we would get. Oh my goodness, that's a bear. Yes, that is another custom mob added by TerraFirmaCraft. And we do not want to go near it. They will attack you. And they will kill us currently. I believe they are actually one of the more challenging mobs in the game. We're finding all sorts of crops. This is, again, a little further away from our shelter, so I will grab the seeds here. Do not want to forget about them, and cannot be bothered at the moment to make a waypoint, because yes, I am that lazy. Sometimes. And more crops in the distance. Different kinds of trees up there, none of the legendary Douglas fir. It's native silver again. I was really hoping for another piece of copper to be just right here. I do not see any. And I am just now remembering that this episode is probably getting very long. So I think we've made some good progress today. We are very close to having the metal needed to make our first pick. And from there, I think it will be a relatively quick progression, at least to some of the early metals. We'll potentially get a good source of bronze very quickly, which will help us progress. But for now, I think I'm going to put an end to this episode, and I will see you next time.